Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Schools are being hyper vigilant right now over threats or appearances of threats of violence because of this. We've heard of about a couple of situations where there have been some threats. Foley High School was placed on lockdown Thursday morning after a teacher overheard something she thought sounded like somebody bringing a weapon to class. An investigation was done. No weapon was found. False information caused a problem there. In Arab, allegedly, there was a school on lockdown as well. Authorities do what they're supposed to do in these situations. They secure the campuses and all these other things. That's good. I still think we are really missing out on a real opportunity to absolutely nail the perpetrators of these problems. And I think we just don't do that enough. So in my opinion, if somebody does something like that, you put the screws to them to make sure they never try to do it again.
Number 6.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall voiced concerns about the rising number of Haitian immigrants in the state. One of the few local officials who speak out strongly on this, calling it a strain on public resources and safety, and highlighting the fact that the Biden administration has made this all worse. Quote, we have fought, and I mean almost just since day one of the Biden administration, multiple efforts they've had around immigration, clearly going beyond the bounds of programs that were established by Congress, exceeding authority and that's been given to them to make decisions that they are not lawfully entitled to do. And Steve Marshall is one of the people fighting this. We all need to be fighting this. I think the local leaders have been kind of asleep at the switch on this. That's my opinion. And I think they've dropped the ball. We need to see more being done locally, speaking out against this.
Number 5.
Former President Donald Trump has another plan here on pay, and it sounds like something I've heard about here in the great state of Alabama by a friend of mine, House Minority Leader Anthony Daniels. He was a Democrat in the state of Alabama who came up with a good plan. Eliminate taxes on overtime pay. Now, the aim here is to increase disposable income for workers and incentivize hard work. Alabama passed a similar law last year. Did you know that they complained that this would cost $45 million to the Education Trust Fund budget, meaning hardworking Alabamians would have $45 million more dollars in their pocket? That's good. That's good. Speaking at a rally in Tucson, Trump emphasized that workers like police officers, nurses, and truck drivers all deserve more financial support and pledged tax-free overtime hours if reelected. This is similar to his tax-free tips idea, and I wonder if Kamala Harris will steal it.
Number 4.
Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed has accused the Alabama legislature of, quote, failing, end quote, to protect the city's citizens, particularly after the 2022 law allowing concealed carry without a permit, a law that has not added to Montgomery's problems at all. Reed also announced a new city ordinance requiring a photo ID to carry a concealed weapon, which will be found to be unenforceable under Alabama law, but Reed is more interested in making headlines to a compliant press than dealing with the city's actual problems, as he has shown he is unable, unwilling, and unsituated to deal with those problems. But he will sit in front of a bunch of media members and go, what if we ask the murderers to carry ID cards? And everyone's like, you did it, buddy. Great job. Great job. You did it.
Number 3.
In vitro fertilization fear-mongering is a deceptive core Democratic campaign tactic. You know about the 4 Ds, right? Deception, demonization, demographics, and dumbassery. This is the deceptive part of this. They're attempting to use in vitro fertilization to pretend they care about reproductive rights and are not just abortion fetishists. Alabama United States Senator Katie Britt, a Republican out of Montgomery, emphasized that IVF is already legal in all states and argued that Schumer's approach undermines religious freedom, pointing to her alternative proposal with Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, which does not require anyone to do the procedure, but withholds federal funds for states that ban it. That's not good enough, because the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants to make it to where you will do this, you have to do it, just like they want to force people to do abortions and things like that. This is not the right decision, but Katie Britt's right.
Number 2.
As some of the charges filed against former President Donald Trump in Georgia fall, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland has now declared, hilariously, in my opinion, that, quote, there is not one rule for friends and another for foes, one rule for the powerful and another for the powerless, one rule for the rich and another for the poor, one rule for Democrats and another for Republicans, or different rules depending on one's race or ethnicity, end quote. Which is a very good statement from the AG. But unfortunately for him, he oversees the same DOJ that created a get-out-of-jail-free card for President Joe Biden and his son, refused to provide transparency about that process, launched a raid against his rival for the same crime, not to mention the unprecedented investigations and lawfare that former President Donald Trump has faced. So the AG says, no DOJ is politicized. Well, his DOJ is.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
Former President Donald Trump announced he will not participate in a third debate, and the media is incensed by this. They demand a third debate. They demand it, but they're not going to get it. He declared, Donald Trump did, a victory after his confrontation with Vice President Kamala Harris in Philadelphia. It's debatable whether or not he actually won. I think he did, but look, the consensus on this is generally that he did not. Do not show me online polls. Those are not real polls. If you want to discuss that, I'm more than happy to lay all that out for you if you want. Okay, an online poll is not a real poll. If you can ask people to go vote in it, they're just going to go vote for the person they support. That's what's happening. If that's not true, tell me about President Ron Paul. Okay, that's my takeaway on that. If you want to learn more, reach out and I'll give you more information. Additionally, maybe Trump doesn't need to. Prediction guru Nate Silver, not polling, by the way, this is predicted stuff based on a lot of different factors, said the Trump-Harris debate, well, good for Harris, not earth-shattering. Still predicting Trump's odds of winning at 63.8%. I think it's 60.8%. Despite interest from the Harris campaign for the debate, Trump has rejected the idea, stating on Truth Social that he'd already won against comrade Kamala Harris, and there would be no rematch. Completely reasonable based on how Democrats handled this last debate. So the Democrats and the media, I guess, would be the best way to do that. So that's where we're at. That's where we stand right now, and people have to pay attention to what's happening in the world. Policy, not personality. If we have that conversation, there's no need for another debate because Kamala Harris can't talk policy. And I think that's where Americans are generally on this, and there's no sign that's going to change anytime soon. You, however, have a great opportunity to talk policy, personality, anything else. The 7 things, you can get a question in for 10 with him. You can do all of these things in a very simple and easy way. Just pick up the phone, talk or text 205-545. Wait, that's not right. 866-494-WVNN. 866-494-9866. That is the ScoutPestControl.com WVNN hot take text line. Jump in right there, answer our question of the day, send us a question for 10 with him. You name it, we're ready for it. Let's go ahead and get to it. It is the Dale Jackson Show. It is WVNN, and we'll be right back.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 things you should be talking about today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.